welcome to Walk the Plank, the athletic department podcast here from Perry High School that will take a deep dive into the week that was Perry Athletics. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Gene Winters. Thanks for being here, Gene.
Yeah, thanks for having us, or me again.
Always.
Week 30 already and still dodging raindrops and weather.
Yeah, week 30, that's crazy to say. We've had 30 episodes, 30 podcasts. Again, just trying to give everybody an update of what is going on this week in Perry Athletics. Both from middle school and high school perspective, we'll have our Athletes of the Week on here with us as well and just talk about the teams. But as you mentioned, the weather, unfortunately, is not being very cooperative with us right now as we sit here on a Thursday afternoon. It's about 40 degrees outside and raining. It seems to have been doing that quite a lot lately. So
yeah, mix in a little snow as well, and it's your typical April in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah, and I know with your work with the Guardians and the Cavs and things like that, you had some a crazy thing happen last night where the base runner literally pulled up lame because he pulled a muscle. It was so dang cold outside, and I was out at a baseball game last night until about 8:30, and it was frigid out there. We'll be playing into June if this weather keeps up.
Yeah, and that's what you expect. You get a bunch of double headers coming up, and just try to jam in as many games in a short period of time.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully the long-term forecast doesn't look great either. The next 7 to 10 days are not going to be good. So we appreciate everybody's flexibility for being with us as we're trying to make these decisions on a daily basis. Are the games going to be played? Are we canceled? Are we on? Or is the time changed? Is the location changed? All of those things are options in the spring. We just try to find a field that's available, especially for baseball or softball. And obviously tennis is rain dependent as well. Track is more temperature dependent. So we'll see. We've got Perry Relays coming up this Saturday, the 12th, and we'll have 20 teams here between boys and girls, 20 plus teams here. So we'll see how that goes. But speaking of track, we'll transition right into our girls athlete of the week. Our female athlete of the week is Holly Viss. Thanks for being here, Holly. Congratulations. There is your certificate. The Dairy Queen here in Perry does a great job of supporting our athlete of the week here program. Each of our athletes of the week get a free meal deal and a blizzard. So thank you to Marie and crew over at the Perry Dairy Queen. All right, Holly, let's talk a little bit about your season so far. Obviously been nominated by Coach Richards as our athlete of the week. Couple of performances this past weekend out at Spire in the 3200. You took first out at Spire, and then in the biggest track meet that I've ever seen as an athletic director down in South Carolina, 60-ish teams. You took second place in the 1600 in the mile. In a very highly competitive environment. Like I said, they started running events at 8:30 a.m. and they were scheduled to end around 7 p.m. that Saturday. I've never seen anything like it. So just talk about that experience. I guess we'll start with Cane Bay down in the South Carolina and the Charleston area and what that event was like for you.
Yeah, it was great to open up in Cane Bay because the weather's really nice there. So it was like 65. And there's lots of competition, so it really helped me just being able to race against these girls. They've been racing because their outdoor season started a couple weeks before us. So it really did help to have them all right there for my 1600. We ran in a pack, so it really helped me push myself. And then at the end, the girl who got first, that really helped me be able to get a 5:18.
So 5:18 to start the year. Now, have you run the mile since Cane Bay, and does it get slower? Obviously, our goal is always to improve and PR as the season goes, but does the weather play an impact, have an impact on your times when we're up here dealing with this weather?
Yeah, I actually haven't ran the 1600 yet because I did the 3200 and I've done the 800. And we've only had a couple meets, but I'm doing the 1600 this weekend at Perry Relays, and then I'll do it again next week.
All right.
Does cross country, how does that help you for track season? Obviously, you have, I don't want to say the same kind of weather conditions, but maybe a little bit chillier weather in the fall. So does that help you prepare for track, or is it two different running styles?
Yeah, it does. It does help me with the cold because I'm so used to running just in a tank top when it's 50 degrees in cross country in October and November. So yeah, it helps that now that in the spring it's really cold. So yeah, it doesn't really bother me if it's that cold.
Do you prefer it? Does it help when it's a little chillier? You'd rather have it 70 like in South Carolina?
Yeah, I'd rather have like 60 degrees. I feel like that's the perfect temperature, probably, because it's not too hot, but not too cold.
And we do run the gamut, obviously, as we're talking about and complaining about continually about our weather here in Northeast Ohio in April. By the time our season rolls around to an end, we are in Columbus at the state tournament, and we'll talk to Holly about some of her goals for the rest of the season here coming up. But you're going to be running June, that's 5th, 6th, 7th range of, so that first weekend of June where it can get into the 80s. That's not as comfortable for you, obviously. That 60 degrees is the key number.
Mm-hmm.
And what other events? So we've had Cane Bay that actually, opened up our season.
Mm-hmm.
And then last weekend, we were over at Spire. Did you go to Cleveland Heights on Friday as well?
Yes, I did the 4x8 there. That was the only event I did.
Okay.
So.
And then the 3,200 over at Spire last Saturday, not a great weather day either, cold, but you took first in the 3,200.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's the difference for you? Obviously, it's 2 miles instead of one, double the amount. What else is different for that race? Is it just pace? Are you going to start a little bit slower? You're not going to come out as fast as you would in obviously an 800 or 16. But what is the differences for you in terms of races?
Yeah, you definitely have to pace yourself a lot more because it is 8 laps.
Okay.
So yeah, I ran the 3,200 and I was kind of like by myself, so it was hard like pacing myself since it's the first time ever running it for me. But yeah, I had a good time. I'm excited to like race it again this season. And I was only like 10 seconds off the school record, so
Wow.
I'm hoping to break that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm excited.
What did you learn about doing it? Was it kind of like Mr. Rockwell was talking about, like trying to pace yourself, trying to find a pace, or was it trying to maybe push yourself a little bit to try to figure out maybe if I start off quick, then I can ease, or how do you take us through that mindset of trying to get it for the first time or do it for the first time?
Yeah, I felt like my first mile was pretty good, but I feel like the second one I can definitely push myself more if I have like other people around me. So I feel like that would definitely help me drop a lot of time, being able to like speed up a little bit more on that second half of the 2 mile.
And does the mindset stay the same? Obviously, track to cross country, but obviously you're going 3 miles for cross country. Obviously, a little bit more different terrain and everything else, and you're on a track here. But do you take that same mindset of, or maybe same techniques of trying to figure it out? I guess.
Yeah, I agree that like it definitely does help with like cross country, like that being a 3 mile race and now coming to do a 2 mile race. It is a little bit more like boring because you're just like running around for 8 laps, and like cross country you actually get to see different things. But I like the 2 mile. It's good.
All right. So is there a reason you said that was the first time you've run the 2 mile?
Yeah.
Okay. Like ever?
Yeah.
So you've not
Because
run
I
a 2 mile?
haven't been able to because
Okay.
like last year
Oh,
my
that's
leg
true.
it would always like hurt whenever I ran,
Yeah.
so I wasn't able to run 8 laps on the track.
Okay.
So,
So you're feeling pretty good though.
yes.
All right, awesome. Well, and only 10 seconds off the school record, so that's obviously a goal. Let's transition into that a little bit. What are some of the other goals that you have for this track season? As a senior, your last go-around, you placed 24th overall at the state cross-country meet, so you check that box, even though, again, when we had you on in the fall, you really didn't start until, about halfway through the season. So if you're at full strength right now, what are some of your goals for the rest of this year and your senior year of track?
Yeah, I definitely want to make it to state this year for sure because last year I was like so close. I was like a place off. But I feel like this year I'm a lot stronger and I've been training a lot more. Like I've been running more miles each week. So I feel like that will definitely help me. And I would in the 1600, I think that's the one that I want to focus on the most. I would like to get probably around like 5:10. I feel like I probably can because I was only 8 seconds away from it. So yeah, probably around 5:10 in the mile. And I just want to like try out and see if I like the 800 or the 3,200 better because those events are like right by each other.
Yeah.
So I'd have to pick like one or the other for postseason. And I've only ran them like each once for an open event this year. So I'm excited to see how that will go. And then I'll kind of see like how the competition is in our region and see what I can make it out.
What the
in
times
most.
are going to be. You can compare
Yeah.
times. You'll have an
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that 800 and the 3,200 are close by. How about the 4x8? Do we have, are we running the 4x8? We got a good crew there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be me, Audrey, Aaliyah, and then we're not sure about the 4th person yet.
Okay.
We're still trying to figure it out. But yeah, I'm excited
All
to
right.
hopefully make it to regionals this year.
Right, because that's a little bit
Yeah.
more split up usually. They do that either on a different day at the district meet, and, the first day, we host district here, May 24th and 26th, I believe, or 22 and 24th. It's a Thursday, Saturday. So that Thursday, you run the 4x8. It's a prelim day, not as strenuous of a day. So that's an option as well, and we'll see where you end up in the 800 or 3200. Trying to think, the district time for the 800 and that 32, but we're going to focus on the 16.
Yeah, definitely I'll
Focus
do the
on the 16,
16.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
And for you, do you see the same girls that maybe you saw in cross country that come over for the long distance and track? So you're kind of familiar with them, or do you kind of see a new batch of opponents?
It's pretty much the same. A lot of the girls that do like the 2 mile. Some of the people that do the 800 are different because it's more like a speed event.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see a lot of the same competition from cross country.
And does that help? Because you already have seen them, you know what to. I don't want to say what to expect, but you know what they can do or what they can, their potential, I guess, is
Yeah, it
to help
definitely
push
helps
you.
to pace myself. So if I know I'm kind of close to them in cross country, I could definitely use them in a race or track, and it'll help me. So.
All right, and then same concept with the 800. Obviously, we talked about the difference between the 16 and the 32. 800 is half mile. What's your mentality there? Obviously, need to be faster, but at the same time, you don't want to go at a dead sprint for 2 laps. But how does your mindset change for the 800 versus the mile or the 2?
Yeah, the 800, you pretty much just got to go out there and start sprinting, and then you get through 1 lap, and then you just have 1 more to go.
Okay.
And then the mile, you kind of just pace yourself through the 4 laps, and same with the 32. You just have to go
Yeah.
slower. But yeah, it felt different running the 32 because
Yeah.
I'm not used to that.
Sure.
So.
And the crowd noise, the adrenaline, the coaches, how does that play in opposed to cross country where you're in the woods and you might hear a voice or two here, you're inside a stadium, crowds, people yelling all over. If they're, as Mr. Rockwell mentioned, South Carolina, 60-plus teams, I'm sure it was awfully noisy. So how do you stay focused and try to hear your coach or stay in your own game than getting into
Yeah.
someone else's?
So for track, they usually call out splits each lap. For example, the 1600, each 400, they'll call it out. So that helps. And I could usually always hear my coaches because they'll be on the inside the track and I hear them. But it does help having so many people cheer for you and all your teammates there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely helps a lot.
All right, Holly. Well, we wish you the best of luck for the rest of the year. We're hosting a lot of track here this year. If you haven't seen it, we did redo our track. Should be nice and soft and new, and we've got some different. The lanes are colored a little bit, make our exchange zones differently. So we're fortunate to host a lot of. We have Perry Relays this Saturday. We have our CVC Middle School meet on April 29th, I believe. We have our Middle School Invitational on May 6th. Then we host CVC High School championships here, May 13th and 15th. And then May 22 and 24 will be our district events. So we have a lot of big events here. So come on out. Plenty of opportunity to see Holly and the rest of the team here at Perry on the track. So before we let you go, Holly, we won't go back and compare these answers to when you were here in the fall, but we're going to ask you some questions. And again, maybe they've changed a little bit over the last 4 or 5 months. But what is your favorite food?
I would just say any fruit.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I like mangoes a lot. Probably. I think I said that last time.
Okay. All right. We'll double
Still
check
my
that.
favorite.
Still your favorite.
Yes.
Mangoes are it.
Yeah.
Now, do you get anywhere? Is it Walmart? Is it Giant Eagle? Is it a fruit? Place that you're looking for, or just anywhere, any mango will
I think
do?
my dad usually just
Yes,
gets
he
it
is.
for me. I'm
Okay.
not sure where.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about favorite subject in school?
Definitely math or science.
Okay. Any favorite movie or television series, show, streaming, anything that you're into there?
I'd say my favorite movie is Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite memory from Perry Athletics, whether a youth, a rec experience, a middle school experience, a high school experience. What are you going to take away? You're going to walk across that stage here in a month and a half. What are you going to remember the most?
Yeah, probably making it to state with either my 4x8 team, that was my freshman year, or my sophomore year when I made it with my team in cross country.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say that's a big memory.
Awesome. Any hobbies outside of your running, whether cross or track? What do you
Yeah.
like to do?
I like just like going out on walks in the nature and going on hikes.
Awesome.
And just spending time with like friends and my dogs. I have 2 dogs.
Okay. What kind of dogs?
I have golden retrievers.
Golden. Those are
Yes.
fun. If you could visit any place in the world, money's not an object. Where is Holly heading?
Somewhere in Europe.
Okay.
But I don't know where. Europe's big. But
It's all right.
Anywhere
That's-
there.
Anywhere to go explore the
Yes.
place. All right. Holly, congratulations on a great season
Thank
so
you.
far. We'll be following you the rest of the year. Best of luck with achieving your goals, and hopefully people come out and watch Holly and the track team as we go here throughout the spring. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And yeah, best of luck. State qualifier multiple times in cross track. Now she's working. It's her last go around here. So I know she's working hard, and hopefully she gets down to Columbus here in June.
And another athlete that we've had come in that knows the school record that they're chasing.
Yes,
It-
yes.
Every
She knows down
time
to the
someone
second,
knows
she
where they
knows.
need to be to take that school
And then
record.
that's going to be a
knock it out
good
of the park.
little carrot for her.
Yes.
As she's out there chugging away 8 laps around the track in that 3,200. So best of luck to Holly. All right, we'll bring up our next athlete of the week, Caden Brewster. Come on up. Caden is our male athlete of the week. He is a member of our tennis program, plays #1 singles for us in tennis. Welcome to the show, Caden.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
All right, thanks for joining us. So far, our season, we'll give a quick rundown. We're 2-1 on the season as a team. You're 3-0
Yeah.
overall at first singles. So pretty much what you expected, or how's the season been going? Obviously, very early stages of the season so far, but how's it been going?
It's been going good. I mean, we're working hard as a team.
Okay.
First match, Geneva, obviously, we lost, but they were a couple matches in already. So
They had played a couple of times,
Yeah.
right? And it was really a close match, if I'm not mistaken. It was at Geneva, so I didn't get to see it. You won. Was it 4-1? Was the final? Did they beat us
Yeah,
4-1?
4-1.
So you won on first singles, but then I think each of the other matches, at one point we were winning
yeah,
each match, so it could have been a 5-0 thing, but we're really close. I don't know if Geneva's going to play us again, but
I don't think we
I
do.
don't think so. No, but that's all right. So 4-1, but a very tightly contested match, and again, it's hard to keep track of who's in what division in our Chagrin Valley Conference because we have 25 teams currently. We're expanding to 29 teams after next year, so 2026. It's just hard to keep track. Geneva's not in our division, so there's still chances for us to win the Chagrin Valley Conference. What are some of the goals that you have personally, and then what are some of the team goals as well for this season?
personally, I would like to make it to the district tournament this year. Try
Okay.
and make a run there.
Yep.
It's pretty tough to get there for tennis because it's less people that go there compared
Yeah,
to other
for sure.
sports.
Yep.
And then team goals, definitely to win the CVC.
Okay.
I think we're 2-0 in our CVC right now.
Right, we are. That's good. We have wins against Harvey and Wycliffe, and more coming up here as we go. We're actually the host of the CVC tournament here at Perry, so that's we had to move it one day. It's now Wednesday, April 30th. So we'll have 6, 7, 8 teams here that day for CVC tennis Wednesday the 30th, and that'll be sort of put a bow on that. We'll see what our record. It's a combination of regular season wins, losses, and then the one-day tournament. We sort of mash it all together and come up with a champion. So that's great to hear that that's our goal. We'll always love to compete in the CVC.
Now, take us back to last year. How was your season last year? I know it's your first year back here at Perry, but how did tennis go for you as a freshman last year?
It was good. I played second singles for our school because we had a pretty tough one
Mm-hmm.
last year with Isaac, but it was a good season. I almost made it to districts last year, and we were runner-up for our CVC last year when I was at Geneva.
Was there something in your game that you realized last year that you needed to maybe tweak or improve in the offseason? And if so, how has that gone so far?
Definitely my serve and my forehand. Definitely need to get more power on them, but it's been going really well, especially with Coach Rob. He helps me a lot.
And you're a lefty, right?
I'm a lefty for serving,
Lefty, okay.
but I play with my right hand.
Okay, so you play with your right hand, so that is unique. And Caden's a member of our basketball team as well, so you see him out there shooting, and you're a lefty there. So that's interesting. How did that come about when you started playing tennis? Just feels more comfortable that way?
Well, my first 2 years of tennis, I actually served right-handed.
Okay.
And then last winter, I changed to left-handed. Coach Rob, I was in a lesson with him or something at Pine Lake.
Okay.
And he told me to serve left-handed because he knew I throw balls with my left.
Right.
And I tried it, and it was just way better than my right hand.
Wow, cool. That's awesome.
Just more speed, more accurate, all of it together?
All of it, yeah.
Just a total thing. All right, that's pretty awesome. When did you start playing tennis? Was it-
7th grade.
So 7th grade. So never played as a younger athlete or anything like that?
No.
Huh.
So I'm guessing baseball was, or somewhere along that line,
Okay.
it switched over from one to the, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You're talking about throwing and doing everything else earlier on, so.
Anybody else in the family play tennis? How did you get started in it? Just randomly?
My dad played in his middle school years.
Okay.
But my grandma was actually really good at tennis.
Okay.
So she kind of got me started
Awesome.
until I got real serious with it.
Now, as Mr. Rockwell mentioned, obviously you're on the basketball team, so how does basketball help tennis or vice versa? Tennis help basketball? Is there anything that you can draw, like I can, maybe move more vertically because of this, or back and forth, or play defense, anything?
Tennis
help you?
actually helps basketball a lot with footwork. Like, it makes you quicker because you're moving back and forth on the court a lot.
Yeah.
So either way, they both help each other. And then shuffling your feet on defense for basketball, it helps tennis too.
And with this group, obviously being number one single, so take us through the rest of what Coach Rob puts out there. Who's next to you in second singles and third?
Andrew Morris is second singles, and then Bronson Denholm is at third singles.
And how did I can't ask you, how did the group last year help you? Because obviously you weren't
Yeah.
here, because I know Morris, Andrew's brother, obviously is playing tennis in college now. So, but all right, so that group, you're a sophomore with those other two. So how good can this group be?
I think we're going to be really good, especially for the next 2 years, because
Yeah.
we're all sophomores. We're going to be a really deep team for a long time.
And I know with Alex, Dame is our lone senior out there, and he's playing doubles. Who's he playing doubles with?
His
typically?
brother, Benny
So,
Dame.
so both the Dame combo that will be entertaining in itself. If you ever just want to come watch that happen, the Dames on the tennis court, they can actually talk. They don't have to be quiet because it's not golf. They can actually be interactive. And anybody who knows Alex, you won't have a hard time hearing Alex on the tennis court. And then so in our second double, so really we are a young team. And, like Hayden said, I mean, these guys are only sophomores, so they're going to have really 2.5. We're not even halfway through this year, so almost 3 full years together to sort of grow together. And I would expect some great things from this group.
And I was around Coach Rob a little bit in the fall. So how is he as a coach, a mentor to help you grow your game? Obviously, you've already talked about changing your serve, but what else does he bring to maybe that to help tweak you a little bit, or maybe something that he says that clicks for you that really changed something for you so far in these three matches?
He knows the strategy of the game really well because obviously he played college tennis.
Right.
So he kind of just walks through. He sees who I'm playing, and he just tells me what their weaknesses are and how to beat them.
Do you do any scouting on your own, or you just wait for him and just kind of go out and read and react to what the opponent's giving you?
I mean, I'll watch them warm up, but
Sure.
I don't really know who I'm playing.
So that's interesting because when we had Audrey Austin on, she said the same thing. As you're volleying back and forth, just trying to warm up, you start to pick out the strengths or weaknesses of your opponent. So that's interesting that the same mindset coming from the number one girl here at Perry to the number one singles on the boys' side, picking up those little tweaks. And so, speaking of that, how has maybe Audrey helped you a little bit? Because I see when in the fall you were out there with us a little bit. I'm sure she's been out here in the spring with you guys. So how does she help mold your game as well?
Well, she's a really good player, obviously.
Sure.
So she's definitely a good person to hit with. We hit at Pine Lake a lot together, too.
And then, so you mentioned you played in the fall. Are you playing tennis year-round? Obviously, basketball season, it runs essentially November to March. But how often are you playing tennis, in that off-season period?
I play year-round. I play in USTA tournaments, and I go to Columbus, Michigan, and then around here, too. There's some within 40 minutes of here.
And what's the rating called? It's escaping my mind right now. There's a
UTR?
UTR rating. And I know, actually, they're going to start incorporating the UTR into some OHSAA stuff at some point. So it's good that you're doing that because I think, not this year, but I've heard they might be expanding our tennis divisions They're expanding track and cross country. That was talked to us yesterday. Different. We'll talk about that maybe later in the show. But if tennis does expand and they're going to start using UTR for almost like seeding purposes, which is pretty much what that number does anyway when you're playing in these outside tournaments, right? Is it a
it does.
seeding program? Okay.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed for
Okay.
most tournaments.
Okay, gotcha. So you're playing year round, and then how was the transition? And maybe it's not much of a transition from that basketball season to tennis. You got a couple of weeks off, but if you're playing year round, what was that transition like for you from basketball to tennis?
When basketball ended, I felt like I had a lot more time off. I took about a week off before
Okay.
I played tennis,
Yeah.
full on. But
Right.
yeah,
When do you pick up a basketball again? Have
There
you
you go.
playing tennis all year round? Do you wait till maybe August, September? I'm not saying you're not going to shoot in the summer, but I'm sure there's a time where you're going to start to ramp it up before junior year starts.
I actually play AAU basketball,
So
so
you're-
I'm on a team right now.
Okay, so you're double. You're truly a dual sport athlete in the
Yeah.
same season. Because you've done the AAU
Yep.
thing or doing the AAU thing. I've done it with my kids. It's a crazy schedule on
Yeah.
top of the tennis. Now that's a good thing. We don't play a lot of Saturday matches, so that does help, I'm sure. But so what team are you on for AAU?
Lake Erie Defenders.
Like Erie Defenders. You guys where are you playing this weekend?
We're in Pennsylvania.
Okay, is that the Edinburgh one?
No,
already?
it's
Not yet?
Sharon, PA.
Oh, Sharon, PA. Okay, yeah. Coach Albert, he's now the head girls basketball coach over at Berkshire. Does a great job. Lake Erie Defenders is a great program. They've been here for a long time. They'll actually, they rent some space from us in May. I think that first weekend in May, there's a tournament here in Perry. So good to hear that you're doing both. So from a basketball perspective, we've graduated 4 seniors. Let's look ahead, I guess, to next year. Are you excited about next year for basketball?
Oh yeah, we're gonna be a young team again.
Yeah.
I think we're only gonna have 2 seniors with
Right.
Michael and Brady.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be mostly juniors. We should be fine. We should be good.
And again, a lot of you that are sophomores this year had a lot of playing time for Coach Ice, mixing in on the varsity level, but of course, some of them in the JV level as well. So it's kind of like we've been talking about the last couple of weeks. This senior class now that's graduating has been together for a long time, and you go back to even last year on the football side. Now you're starting to see this sophomore class, the 27s, that have been growing together. So, kind of take us through that. The relationships that you make, the friends that you've had. Does that help? Playing with these guys since you were in youth to getting to that ultimate goal of becoming a state champion or on the tennis side yourself.
We definitely have some good chemistry when we play together, especially with some certain players.
Yeah.
Like we move the ball really well. I think we're gonna move the ball really well next year too.
And I'm sure it helps too, having been together, the respect that you guys have for each other. So if you get on a player, they're not going to take it personally, or you're trying to down. You guys have been a tight, close-knit group for many years, so it's easy to help auto-correct yourselves than waiting for Coach Ice or Coach Grant to come in and step in and
Yeah,
fix
definitely.
it.
How's Coach Grant been? He's sort of injected a lot of energy, a little youth into the program, and a guy that just sort of exudes his passion for basketball. Every step he takes, he's like he's just a basketball junkie. How's it been working with him?
He definitely brings the energy.
Yeah.
He's always the first one in the gym,
Yeah.
ready to go. Whether it's a 6 a.m. practice that we have or
Yeah.
after school, he's always ready.
How many three-pointers do you put up in basketball season on a typical day?
Like practice?
Practice? Because
I would say I shoot about 100 a day.
Because
at
I know at
practice.
one point during the season we did one of the streams, and obviously a three-point specialist where I think I'm just going to make up a number because I can't remember it offhand, of your 130 attempts, field goal attempts, 120 of them were from three. It was something along those lines. So obviously you're out there to hit the three, hit the big shot, and it's just you're just not going to come on the court and hit 5 threes a game. It's going to take some time to get in. So I was just interested to see how much time and energy and effort is put into fixing that craft, kind of like playing tennis or an individual sport as well.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely during the off season I get in the gym more because I have a pack membership here.
Right.
And then Coach Ice helps me get in the main gym too.
Yeah.
So I come up here a lot and shoot.
I always want to shoot on the baskets I'm playing on.
Yeah,
that's
it
the
helps.
thing. Yeah, the field house is great, but I get that. All right, Caden Brewster, congratulations on a great start to the year. 3-0 to start in our tennis. Looking for great things. Should be an exciting year. Best of luck to get into that district tournament as well. Before we let you go, I had just a couple of questions, get to know you a little bit better here. And what is your favorite food?
Sushi.
Sushi. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
so I have to ask that because I'm not a sushi fan. Where's the best sushi at here in our area?
I would say Osaka Sushi. It's
Okay.
in Madison.
In Madison. All right. Little shout out to Osaka then. That's good. How about your favorite subject in school?
History or chemistry when I took it. I really like that class.
All right. Favorite movie or television series, streaming series, anything out there?
Ooh, favorite movie. I think I'll go with Waterboy, the Adam
Okay,
Sandler
yeah,
movie.
that's a good one. That's
a good movie.
That's a classic. Favorite memory from Perry, whether elementary, middle, high, doesn't matter when. What's your, and again, you're only a sophomore. What's your favorite memory so far that you're going to take away?
I would say our 7th grade basketball team. Just that whole season.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and we won a lot of games.
Awesome. Any hobbies? You're very, you got the basketball, you got the tennis here going on. Any hobbies outside of those two activities?
I ride dirt bikes a lot.
Okay.
I haven't done it as much recently because I've been
Okay.
really busy with sports.
Okay.
But it's definitely more of a side hobby.
Okay, awesome. And if you could visit any place in the world, money's not an object, where are you heading?
Probably Japan.
Japan. All right, that's
Tokyo.
unique. Tokyo, Japan. All right. I think we had one other
Yeah, right.
person say that, but that's awesome. All right, Caden, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good start to the year. Congrats. Oh, here's your Dairy Queen certificate.
Thank you.
And we'll stay up with you, and we'll have Coach Rob out here probably in the next couple of weeks. We'll get an update on everything. Best of luck.
All right, thank you.
All right, Caden Brewster, #1 singles player here at Perry High School.
Yeah, 2-1 as we talked about. They were supposed to play today with Ursula, and obviously that's going to.
Well, and actually, that's the fun thing, right? We should have talked about that. We're playing Ursuline today because we're going to Youngstown State.
Okay.
We're playing inside. So, okay, that'll be, that was one of the questions I had. That'll be a good experience for us, right? At least we get to play today. We don't have to sit around and cancel practice or, run laps in the gym or whatever they do when they go inside. It's not fun. So, best of luck to tennis tonight as we travel to Youngstown State. We play on their college courts there. Ursuline's got a good agreement with them, and so it's a great opportunity for us to play today when probably no one else in Northeast Ohio is.
Yeah, should ask them too, because when they go up to Erie, because obviously I made
yeah.
that trip this year,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they always go to this pizza place, and I forget what it
Oh.
is. But that might be the trip that I have to go on just
Okay, just
to
for
get
the
a little
pizza place.
fix here. Yeah,
All right.
I'll have to ask Coach Rob when he's
All right.
when he's in next week.
Yeah.
But scheduled to wrap up tennis, scheduled to
Yes.
play tomorrow against Kirtland, weather permitting. I would
Weather
say.
dependent, that'll be a home match, and hopefully we can get it in. The forecast for Friday is 41 and fog.
Yes.
So
nice.
that's not a good. It's not a good combo when you need courts to be dry because that means it's not going to be sunny, and we're probably going to have to deal with a potential cancellation there. So hoping to get baseball and softball in tomorrow, but it's been crazy. It's not. People have asked, is this typical? Is this average? I would say so far we are definitely below average as far as this start of the spring season. I don't want to say it's the worst one ever, but it's probably in the top 25% of worst years, at least from a starting perspective. So,
Well, and speaking of softball, we'll start there. They were
Yeah.
already canceled today. They had a game Thursday against North. That game has been rescheduled to in May. But the softball team off to a 6-3 start, 2
Yeah.
wins in conference play, 5th in the top of the crop for the News Herald.
Okay.
But they had 2 really good games this week with Madison and a game yesterday against Lakeside on Wednesday.
yeah, and Lakeside, we have to get creative. Our score, if people saw the score, it's like, how do you handle that? It's really tough. We're certainly not trying to run up scores on any team, anytime. We want to be respectful and have great sportsmanship. I think it's one of our messages that we talk about to our coaches and our kids. So, we're sort of at a loss. Our JVs were playing at the same time,
Right.
so we can't even sub, people in. And you also don't want to cross the line if you step off a base to take an out.
Right.
Is that just as much of disrespect as running, scoring runs?
Sure.
And I think we handled it the best we could. But the Madison game was exciting. We actually finished that game
Yeah.
in the snow. And we had Winners had a big home run that game. We had another home run. Ari Rogers with a home run that game, and it's always great to beat the blue streak. So it was a very Sophie Svahn pitched well.
Yes.
It was 3-1. Top of the fifth, they loaded the bases. We intentionally walked their best hitter, and she struck the girl out to end that. They had a big threat. That game was, even though it ended up being a 5 or 6 run game, it was very tight throughout.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you started at 50 degrees that first pitch, and then all of a sudden the rain, and you played the last, I want to say, 6-7 outs in whiteout conditions. So it was your typical Northeast Ohio weather in April, but they'll be back in action on Saturday. They travel to South for a 1 o'clock game with the Rebels. So we'll see how that week plays out. And then again, CVC play kicks off again next week. They're already 2-0, but I think it's Edgewood on Monday and Jefferson somewhere next week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. So conference play starting to ramp up.
And it can all change because we have to get the league rule is you get those conference games in prior to the non-conference games. So we're going back and forth. Baseball's trying to find games for tomorrow. It's all up in the air right now. It's a bit of a mess. But let's move on to our track program. We'll call up our head track coach here at Perry High School, Coach Richards, is joining us. Coach Richards, thanks for coming on, being on the show, and giving some updates here in regards to where our track teams are at. And we talked a little bit earlier how Perry Relays is this Saturday, and we've also talked at length. People are probably tired of hearing us talk and complain about the weather, but it does not look great for Saturday.
No, it doesn't. Mother Nature hasn't really cooperated so far this spring season.
No.
It's actually been a little rough for training purposes and stuff like that, but we do have some very resilient kids, and they're making the most of it, and we have the benefit here of training in a few different ways. We've been in the pool a few different times.
Yep.
We have the field house, so we make the most of it. And our kids are, like I said, they're resilient, and we've had some tremendous performances so far, even without Mother Nature helping us out.
So we'll backtrack. We'll just work back. So Perry Relays on Saturday, the high is like 44 and potential sprinkles in the morning.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. Typically, our threshold for running is about 40. We don't want to pull any hamstrings or quads or calf muscles right this early in the year. So we'll run the event. It is the 64th annual Gene Cobus Perry Relays. So I guess let's talk about that a little bit. 64th annual for the boys, 44th annual for the girls. So a lifetime ago, there wasn't even girls track, right? And a lifetime ago, we were running on cinders over at Memorial Field on Center Road. So it's changed a lot. For those who don't know, Gene Cobus was a longtime 35-year teacher and coach here at Perry High School, Spanish teacher, was very involved in Perry recreation, cross country and track coach, and ultimately a faculty manager before retiring at the ripe old age of 82. But we renamed the relays for him, and we're going to have about 24 teams here on Saturday to compete in his relays.
It's awesome. We've been doing it for a long time. I mean, he was a staple here for forever, long before I got here. So, it's a great event. It's great that we're honoring it in his name for a lot of different reasons. But should be a great meet on Saturday.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I know a lot of our kids are. So
it's great. It's a great home event, and we talked a little bit already early. We host a lot of events this year.
We do.
Brand new track.
It's a great track.
Yeah.
Brand new. Yeah. We are hosting a lot between the middle school, the high school. Some postseasons in there. So, but we do have a lot of events on our home turf. But we have a great group of people that help us run it and stuff.
Yep.
So I'm always looking for more help. But
shout out. We need some parents this Saturday. If anybody wants to help measure field events or write some numbers down on a clipboard, that's really all we need. But we're in pretty good shape. It'll be a fun event. But again, it's 64th annual Perry Relay. So, and then last week We had a multi-meet weekend, right? We had
Yes.
Friday night over at Cleveland Heights and Saturday over at Spire. So what were some highlights from track last weekend?
So we doubled up. We went to Cleveland
Yeah.
Heights Friday night underneath the lights. It's always kind of fun for the kids to be able to run a night meet underneath the lights. But we had a tremendous meet at Cleveland Heights on Friday night. I think there's 16 or 17 teams there. Both girls and guys both finished in second place, runners-up as a team.
Awesome.
But we had 11 individuals or relays that finished first that night, and then we had another 10 that were runner-ups.
Okay.
So you just
Good.
we had a ton of athletes that just did some tremendous things on Friday night, and then turned around and did some really good things at Spire the next day. Once again, not the best weather, but they really did well. We had a handful of lifetime PRs at Cleveland Heights, which was still high 40s.
Yeah.
So not the best sprinting weather, but
Yeah.
our guys 4x1 over there went tremendously fast. 2 years ago, that would be a school record.
Wow.
So they are starting off on a very fast pace. A couple of those guys are returning from our 4x1 last year from state, added a couple two new guys. But they're running exceptionally fast right now. Xavier Jackson ran a lifetime PR over there. Cleveland Heights, Holly Vist ran a lifetime PR at Spire the next day.
Yeah.
We just got a handful of athletes that are just running great right now. Like I said, in not the best conditions.
So does that help you look ahead? Like, hey, when it's 60 or when it's 70,
Oh, yeah.
we might be a little bit
Yeah,
Faster.
out there.
Yeah.
You get, yeah.
Well, you're looking at the sprinters and the jumpers. Yeah, I mean they want to compete in 70 and 80 degree weather. Muscles move a lot faster when it's warmer. Stuff like that. The distance kids, yeah, they don't want to get above 80, but they like it in that 60 to 70 range.
Yeah.
But we are off to a very, very good start. So.
And then jump ahead even a week before, we opened up the season in two different places, which is a little unique for any program. But we had some track athletes compete over at Strongsville High School.
Yep.
And then we had a group down in South Carolina at the Cane Bay Invitational as well. So let's talk about that a little bit.
We had, so we split up squads. We try every year to get to get kids down south.
Yeah.
And the only reason is exact for what's going on right now. I mean, sometimes Mother Nature doesn't cooperate. So we got a really good week of training down in South Carolina, down in Myrtle Beach. I mean, it was mid 60s and sunny pretty much the whole time we were down there. So the kids that were down there really got a benefit of some really good work. And then at the Cane Bay Invitational was a huge meet.
Oh my gosh.
With I can't even tell you how many teams there. I think it was there 45 or 48 teams there.
Of boys and girls. So then
Yeah.
if you double that number, it was the largest meet I've ever seen ever.
It was huge. But a lot of our kids did exceptionally well down there. I brought her up before. Holly Viss is running tremendous right now. She was just about a second off her lifetime mile race down there. She finished second in a group of 74 girls. So she, and she's coming back from a little adversity, some surgery, some other stuff. So I think she's running tremendous right now. She's putting herself, as in that group of one of the best distance runners to come through Perry. At Spire, she was, like I said, she was about 10 seconds off of our 3,200 record set by Abby Clifford, which by most standards is the best distance runner to ever come through.
Right.
So if you're even in that same conversation, I mean, you're putting yourself in a very elite group.
For sure.
So it was good. We had a lot of good performances down there. Armani jumped well down there against some very, very good competition. Traxton jumped well. He was our only champion coming out of Cane Bay, but jumped really well down there against some, and these guys are also in their middle of their season.
Yeah.
I mean, it's our opening meet, but this is like week 5 for them, I think. So they're in the middle of their season down there. So it's a little bit different. But the reason we go down there is for the weather.
Right.
We want to make sure that our kids have the opportunity to get some good training in early on. Unfortunately, not everybody's able to go down there. And we had some great performances that stayed home and trained over spring break here. They went to Strongsville. We had some really good performances over at Strongsville too. Chuck Thomas opened up over there with 135 ish in the disc, so he's opening his season at a really good start. He's thrown that a couple times since. But yeah, we have a lot of kids that are off to some very good starts.
And for you as a head coach, obviously there's a ton of events going on. So how do you split your time? Obviously, I'm sure you're surrounded by some great assistant coaches, but how do you get out to the shot put or over to the long jump or watch your guys or girls running the relays?
I mean, you actually hit the nail on the head. I have surrounded myself with very, very good assistant coaches that I have full trust in, and they know their area of track and field very well. And I trust them to do their things. It is hard for me to get out to the throws and to the high jump and to the long jump and stuff. So I do my best about making it around, talking to the kids, talking to the coaches. But I do have a very, very good assistant staff with me that helps me get through all that stuff. They're tremendous. So,
how has track changed from maybe when you participated to your first year of coaching to where we are now? How has it evolved? How has it, changed in your eyes?
I would say one of the biggest things is athletes have actually started to lift per se. I mean, we got Coach Christinger here, does a tremendous job with our kids. But a long time ago, my wife came through Perry, a while back, and one or two kids were lifting. It wasn't a big deal when they first started out. The training, the access to right training has changed tremendously over the years. The girls' pole vault wasn't even an event until early 2000s. I can't remember the year. I was at Miami University when that changed. But they just they didn't think the girls were capable of that kind of stuff, and obviously that is definitely false. So I mean it's evolved greatly over the years, and but the access to training and the access to understanding how to get better, I think has gone a long ways for a lot of the athletes.
And then we'll have Perry relays. Oh, we had a tri meet last night. I meant to ask you about that. Our duals and our tries. So the typical track season, we'll have a dual meet on a Tuesday or Wednesday, or a tri meet, 2 or 3 teams typically. And then the big invitationals are Friday and Saturday. So are those midweek good opportunity for just experience and trying to get idea of what kids can run in times? How do we use those midweek meets?
It depends on the athlete.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to the weekend meets, the Friday and Saturday meets, the invitationals, it's pretty much just a varsity. And most of those meets, I am only able to enter 2 athletes per event. So 2 boulders, 2 long jumpers. So if they are a varsity athlete and they're already traveling, a lot of times the weekday meets are used just as training.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of our distance kids, last night was more of a speed night for them. They're just doing some training. They're getting some stuff like that in. If the kids aren't on that varsity level yet, it's their opportunity to try and move into that position. So they have an opportunity to say, hey, that they're trying to get into that first or second spot or into a relay spot by proving that they can run X. X fast or jump X far. So kind of depends on the athlete themselves, but the varsity kids, it's more for training purposes, making sure we're in the right place coming into the weekend. And then for the younger kids, they're literally trying to put themselves in a position to where they can travel on the weekend.
Right.
And you as a coach and your staff, do you guys push numbers on the kids? Every athlete we've had on, they know what the PR is. They know what the school record is. They know what they have to do to get to states. Do you guys push that early on to them, or do they just do that on their own and now they know what they're striving for?
No, I push it from early onset, and that actually comes up in my parent meeting as well at the beginning of the season. I've been doing it for years. I'm very goal oriented. Track is all about numbers. You're not trying to, all right, well, I think this kid shoots a better 3 than this kid. I mean, it's very direct.
The number is the number.
Yeah, you're either faster or you're not. You jump higher or you don't. But so over the years, I've put together like a varsity standard, and we've gone over the years. This is what it takes to score in our conference meet.
Yep.
Our conference keeps changing a little bit, but this is what it typically scores in our conference meet. If you can score in our conference meet, I think you deserve a varsity letter. So that's the first goal for the kids. The second goal we called it's a special rec standard, and those are based on the same thing. It's based out of our regional over years. And it's that fourth, fifth, and sixth place finish where if you are hitting these type of marks, that you are putting yourself in the conversation to go to state. So most of those kids know what those are. I hand those out, for the parents to see. So that's kind of out there. But I like the kids to be goal oriented and understanding. I hit this level. This is what I'm working towards the next goal is to put yourself, in a position to possibly, go to the next level and go to state.
I'll tell you what, they take it because every athlete that we've had on, track or cross, wherever, they know what their number is. I mean, week 2, Addie Tresker was in. She was already had her number in mind for coming this spring and into the summer to get the states. And obviously, Holly mentioned hers. And when we had Armani a couple weeks ago coming off the indoor jump, he already knew the number that he is trying to get to.
I think it's vital for the athletes to know. I mean, they know it's like you said, track's very number oriented, right? It's very easy to see, and on paper, this is where we think you need to be able to be down there at the state level. So,
well, on paper, then, how many are we expecting to get down to the states? Obviously, you're only a couple of meets in so far, so there's still a lot of season left.
Yeah, but there's a lot of season. There's a lot of season left, and everything will kind of shake out through there. But Addie Tresker's been to state 3 times. She's been there since she's a freshman. Expecting her to go back. Marley Freeman was there for the first time as last year to join her in the pole vault. Expecting both of those two to go back down there. Armani. He's a returner also. He was down at state last year, expecting him to be back. We had a 4x1 down there, and I spoke about that 4x1 earlier, which I think they have a great shot. To be back down there. Again, I think the girls 4x1 is putting their times in a spot where I think they can actually move and have a team down there. Holly Viss, obviously is in that standard. Traxton is in that standard. McCoy hit my special record for the pole vault is 12.6. I've had kids win our regional, at 12.4, 12.6 for Cam Rogers, Tyler Silvas, back in the day. They were winning it at 12.4. He went 12.6 at Cleveland Heights. So putting him into mix, the pole vault does look to be a little harder on the guys' side this year for sure. But he's putting his name in the hat there. We just have a bunch of kids that they've performed really well, like I said, in some of not the best conditions, and I think they're only going to continue to move forward and get better and jump higher. So
Perry Relays this Saturday. The following week, because of the Easter holiday, we're over at Menor next Thursday night for an invitational. So a little unique. I don't know the last time we've competed on a Thursday night.
Not for an invitational. I don't think I ever have.
Right, and we're off school the next day, so if we end at 9 or 10 o'clock, it's not the end of the world, no school. But so we're at Menor the Thursday the 17th, and then out to Slippery Rock University for a meet on Good Friday the 18th. Let's talk about that. A little unique. Again, getting away. Slippery Rock's only an hour and a half away, but just another chance to probably see other teams and that we normally would not compete against here in Ohio.
No, it's nice to be able to compete against the teams that you don't see week in and week out. You get a little bit of different competition. It's nice to see other schools. The reason we have double ups, where we compete Friday, compete Saturday. This weekend is Thursday and Friday. But the reason I like the double ups, we need a couple of them because that's what we do at state.
Yes.
If you're at state and you're a runner, the 4x1, the 100, the 4, the 300 hurdles, any of that kind of stuff, you have to qualify on one day and turn around and come back and compete the next day. If you're like Armani's not jumping both days down at state. So there's events that are like that, but there's a lot of events where you have to qualify and turn around and run the next day. Some of those next day performances, kids aren't feeling super fresh because they competed so hard the night before, but I want to make sure they understand what that feels like before they do it at the state level.
Sure.
So we do like some of those double ups, and we put kids in sometimes a little different events, going from one to the other. But they're in their staple events. We want to make sure they're getting their time in there and they're jumping well. And again, some different competition, like you said. It's nice to get out and see some different guys.
Yeah, for sure. And then we'll just rehash quickly. We talked about a lot of events here at home for our track. So Perry Relay, this Saturday. We'll have our middle school invitational on May 6th. That's a Tuesday. That is a state qualifying meet for the OHSA middle school meet. We are hosting CVC Middle School championships at the end of April. We are hosting high school CVC championships May 13 and 15, if I'm not mistaken. And then district track, we'll have 40-plus teams here for the district meet May 22 and 24. So quite a busy season here for Perry on the track. Just home events, that's like 8 days of big time, like invitational type of events, in addition to our other duels and tries that we'll host between middle school and high school. So the new track is getting used.
It's getting used. It's getting used for sure.
Yeah. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us here. It's still early in the season. It's April 10th or whatever it is. We've got really almost 2 months. By June 10th, the season will wrap up, but you almost have 2 months left to run the gamut here through the state meet. So we'd love to have you back on. We'll be able to give an update maybe sometime in May here before the postseason.
Yeah, sounds great,
and,
for sure.
Appreciate it. Congratulations
All right.
on a good start, and
Thanks, sir.
appreciate having us taking some time to be here today. And good luck practicing inside today, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Oh, we're inside.
You're
We're inside.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know. But the pool's been great, and it's alternative. We have great facilities, so
We do.
Whatever we're going to do today, hopefully they get a workout in, and we'll go from there. Coach Richards, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, try off to a great start, and obviously, just like every other sport, we wish the weather was better, but we do a good job of doing the best with what we can.
Yeah, and that's it. Come out here on Saturday, support the Pirates, and take in some an excellent meet that will be here on Saturday.
9:30 field events, noon running on Saturday. So we'll hope to have most of our field events wrapped up by that noon, and we'll officially get underway with Perry relays on the running side at noon, and hopefully we're at our peak warmth for the day, maybe in the mid 40s, and we'll go from there.
Well, the last team we haven't talked about yet, boys baseball. 3-2, had a tough one yesterday, had to complete a suspended or postponed game, suspended game, however you want to word it, and then ended up falling in both of them.
Yeah, lost 6-4 in the final game of the night, so we were down 7-0 to West Geauga coming off a Monday suspended game. So we finished that one up, and then, and West G, hats off to them. They came out, and again, we've, being in a dead horse here. The weather wasn't great. Wasn't great for either team. They made the plays that they needed to, and we didn't. And, our bats, I talked to Coach Platt about it today, our bats are cold, the weather's cold, and, we just need to catch a little fire, which we will.
Yep.
Baseball and softball are one of those sports where you can go on really long, extended periods of success, and then you're going to have periods of a lull or a downtime where you're not going to hit 500 the entire year. And right now, in a small microcosm of the year, we're not hitting the ball great, but we anticipate that to get better. And obviously we're expected to do great things, so there might be inherently a little pressure. We're number 2 and top of the crop, so that comes with some pressure, outside pressure there of expectation. And it'll all play out the way it's supposed to. And like I said, West Geo has got a new coach, and they're doing some good things over there in Chesterland. So not how we wanted to start out, being 0-2 in the conference right off the bat to West G, but still plenty of season to go. Like we said with track, state track isn't done until June 6th or 7th. Baseball's a full week later.
Yes.
It's the middle 14th and 15th of June. So we've got quite a while before anything like that. We have to get really concerned about stuff.
And I guess the last thing, and maybe I should have brought this up when Coach Richards was here as well, but youth camp registrations, I saw that posted on your Twitter or your X account. Football, track, wrestling, boys basketball. There's a lot of events for the youth coming up that if your athlete is interested in, should get signed up for here coming up in the summer.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great opportunity. Our coaches across the board in all those sports you just mentioned, we'll probably add another couple to those. I think volleyball and potentially basketball, football, all of the stuff that we run in the summer. Track camp is one of our most popular camps that we offer. So get out there. It is on our website, perrypirates.org. You can sign up and pay through that site and get your son or daughter registered. But we want to, have contact with our young athletes. And it doesn't mean that if you go to track camp that you have to run track in high school. But it's a great experience for those kids to come out and meet some of our coaches and our athletes. And we do it right around the time of the state meet. So there's always some excitement in the air when it comes specifically to that. But all of our camps, our coaches sort of go, in my opinion, above and beyond and do a great job sort of trying to connect with the youth, and it's a great opportunity for the kids to again be around our high school athletes and our high school coaching staffs, and sort of start to build that bridge, if you will.
So good luck to all the athletes that are going to be participating in a sport this week, or up to next week before we have week 31. But there was a lot. Even though there's only 4 or 5 teams really going on right now, a lot to still cover here in the spring.
Definitely, and best of luck to all of our teams here throughout this weekend. Hopefully we're able to play some baseball and softball games. Tennis will play tonight on Thursday. Para relays will happen on Saturday. So best of luck to everybody who's playing, and week 31 next week we'll be back and better than ever talking about the week that was, and hopefully have some good info and maybe some better weather. And until then, thanks for joining us. Go Pirates.